How do you report your husband in this economy where Kipapa, his security, he is your means of being accepted in society? How do you report them? What do you say?
Statistics. I absolutely hate statistics.
Tell me about it.
The reason I hate statistics is because, well, besides the actual module statistics, which I failed in first year.
Which I never attempted.
But, when they say that 1 in 3 women in the Lesotho context, there's an article I was reading,
Yes.
are victims of gender-based violence. And I think back to my journey as statistics, I'm like, that is 1 in 3 is a big, big number.
I actually think one in 3 is simplification. Because that would have normally reported or that would have been interviewed. How I always tell people to think about it is think about yourself, think about your friends, have conversations. More said where 2 or 3 are talking, ask each and every one of them, have you ever felt violated? Have you ever witnessed a violation? Because people underestimate the effect of violence. They think if you have not personally encountered it, it has not affected you. If that would be the case, ask children whose parents were violated. Ask children whose parents were violent. And then they'll tell you, guys, it's not 1 in 3. Actually, I believe
3 out of 3.
Yeah, I actually believe the statistics are 86%.
Okay.
Yes.
That's even worse, because 1 in 3 is 30.
Yes. Be 33.3%. Being corrected
So
by a TK.
I don't have my financial calculator. Wait, I'm just saying, financial calculator. But be that 86% is alarming. And I like the fact how they report it.
Yes.
Because so many people do not actually report.
Yes, because how do you report your father?
Hey,
how do you report your husband in this economy where Kipapa, his security, he is your means of being accepted in society? How do you report them? What do you say?
And our society, what comes to mind is social class, economic class, nationality, region. Somebody may think that I am very self-actualized. I got my finances right. I've got my drink.
You're wasting.
I'm not gonna. I indulge in the taste of character, so I don't play around with my alcohol, And I drink responsibly. By the way, I drink responsibly. Yeah. So, but for me, is many a time having an about gender-based violence. We think somebody who's poor, somebody who is looking shady based on what they're wearing. You're thinking somebody who's got a knife, but we have this person.
Yes.
And the person that is most likely to abuse you is your ordinary person.
Yes, and I think also it's in our nature to trivialize things. I call it the reductionist phenomenon of Basotho.
Okay.
In that we don't want to accept that we have a problem, so as a result we'll reduce it to something else. To lose women, and then you start to think, oh well, I know so and so who comes to work every Monday. I got the sunglass with heaps and heaps of makeup. Not that I have anything against women that wear makeup. I actually love makeup. I wish I was better at it. But
you should watch more YouTube videos.
Darling, it would be a waste of data because I don't even think I have the aptitude to try. But what I'm trying to say is, you see, our problem as Basotho is we have managed to commercialize and commodify women. This is why Ering Hamushanyana Ungela in the streets of Maseru, all he has to say is Hi Salabalia hi. And there's numbers and numbers and numbers and numbers and numbers and numbers of people. But immediately and that is a normal phenomenon. So if it took a common criminal to decipher all I have to say, what more? I'm not a big fan of men, by the way, but that's a topic for another day. I love their goods, but not themselves. I digress. What I'm trying to say is, if a common criminal has gotten to a point where they understand that all I have to do to safely and without being interrupted, say mosadi ke mosadi wa ka hore ke mo hlekefetse, what more ka banna ba rona? You understand? So it is so pervasive that ufmana in every family, na ke hopola ha re banyenyana. So I grew up in a police environment, and the houses are closed, the walls are thin. It's a whole conglomeration. Yes, very thin. So not how come my was crying at night. You know, my sisters and I and my mom would be like, "Jo, mamelang." At no point have I ever seen my father stand up and say, this is nonsense. To date, on numerous occasions, again, I've been out at Groove, and then a certain guy balwana you know what I mean? And people are just there nonchalant. And people would often say, because I've been that girl. All of us have been on a night out with a random guy that you like. Someone is dancing too close to you. I mean, I've got a big booty. What should I do if a guy wants to dance close to me, huh?
I mean, I love the big booty. Like, which brings me to, I think you just raised a very interesting question, Yori. A lot of people, when it comes to gender-based violence, they know instantly so she deserved to be, deserved to be beaten, she deserved to be raped, she deserved to be violated, What? Go ahead. Let's maybe unpack a bit about that.
You see, the problem is we're trying to reduce the woman to where it's her fault. What was she wearing? Where was she? Who was she? I was financially savvy and financially able quite early in my life.
Really?
Yes! Hey, when are financing boys. I'm yet to see because
So I want to ask on the same thing, also bearing in mind that you said you don't particularly like men. So what happens in the event that a man actually reports being violated?
Oh, that's interesting. I actually worked on a case where a man was reporting to have been raped. And it does happen. I don't even want to trivialize that. But every time when you talk about women being raped, to raise the issue, what happens when a man is raped, is to trivialize the matter. It's to try and equalize an unequal circumstance. It's like saying, when black people were saying Black Lives Matter and white people coming up with All Lives Matter. We are all here sitting nicely. If I say my house is on fire, you can't say all houses matter. The house that is burning is this one. Yes, all houses matter, but the one that is burning is this one. And us talking extensively about gender-based violence and how it affects women, it's not to trivialize the abuse that happens to men. We're just saying a bigger problem is there, is with women, without ever taking away from men get violated too. And I say this confidently, and I know there'll be a lot of backlash. Every time women are gold diggers, I don't feel moved.
Can men also be gold diggers?
My argument is, no. How to women are gold diggers? I know I'm not digging any gold because I've yet to find a man that has gold.
As I sit on my character.
So my argument is always, what gold? You are here with your copper and niacinamide, and then you are saying gold diggers. Guys. And it's never an excuse to talk about gender-based violence and money and how because we have women, we have CEOs. If you look at the literacy rate of Lesotho, it's the ratio. There are more women than men that are educated. Look at the unemployment rate. It's the vice versa. We live in a patriarchal world. The system was never intended for us to thrive. So when we thrive, but be that as it may, we thrive. We have CEOs that are female, powerhouses that are female. So
I want to ask on that same note again. CEOs that are female, which is great, and I'm loving that. But is there a possibility that relating this to power, is there a possibility that these females could also use that power, that money, that influence
to reverse
to abuse?
You see, I like these questions because I speak in parables. I'm a lawyer, and you're never supposed to be clear, son. Otherwise, you're a stupid lawyer. If you go into the court and like, my lord, I was in Maseret at 4 hours on or about, at or around. That's how you should talk as a woman. How to know at or about 3 p.m. That's the issue. That's besides the points. I love digressions. What I was saying is, you see, the system was never intended for a woman to thrive. A woman thriving is an abnormality. It's like asking Barack Obama, who at some point was a leader of the most progressive nation, the most powerful country, if his blackness ever elevated black people. It didn't, and it couldn't. And even if he had tried for 8 years to elevate the status of black people, he couldn't. Because the structures, we the people, did not include you, did not include me, did not include my grandmother. So the very existence upon which we are based on never envisaged you. So the fact that there's a sprout of spinach growing on a pavement does not mean the pavement has won. Yes, there's a tiny sprout of spinach on the pavement. Not pavement on spinach.
Sure. Okay.
So no matter how much money we can have as women, unless we break down this system called patriarchy and we stop being patriarchy queens. You know those women, Baba, what do you know about Rata? I mean, really, we've been insulted for 400 years. 400 years.
I'm not very good at my history, but anyway. I think we're going to go into a short break.
Yes.
And then when we come back, I want to talk about the work that you do.
Yes.
You know, and the legal aspect of gender-based violence.
Quasi-legal is the word I like.
Quasi-legal.
Because the legal in itself is patriarchal.
Okay.
Thank you.
Be back shortly. Oh! All right. Men are trash.
All the time. All of them except my father.
Oh, that's very biased. That's very biased. But anyway, I've introduced something here.
Oh yeah,
a new edition.
Really?
And you know what I love about editions?
Senate,
yes. Senate is the new addition to the House of Linford. And I mean, for all my gin lovers, people have been like, TK, vodka. We love vodka, but I'm not sure. And I'm just like, Senate is in the building. Locally produced. I love her, and I'm going to taste her.
Oh, by the way, I beat you to that. And if you just think TK is talking because he's here with Linford, I'm having Senate and...
Girl, I had Linford plus Senate Mobile.
Okay.
And then you still have...
Show off.
To say that. Of course I'm going to show off. Men are trash.
All the time. All of them, including my husband and my kids.
Really? So all men are trash?
Every man.
How? Why?
Why not?
You can't just say why not. Like
it's a genuine question.
Hey, why
men
not?
are. I hope you don't get monetized for this. But here's the phenomenon, right?
I love the money, by the way. So.
Yes, which is why I'm limiting my men are whatever things that you don't really want to mess up with. Anyway, besides the point, the argument is if we were to segment and dissect men, would never. Like we Nene Mkhetana was raped and killed in the post office by a postman. There's that lady that was raped by a bishop. My sister was raped by my uncle. So it's all men. If I was to say to my daughter that I love dearly, Narasha, be careful of uncles, then if I said to him, be careful of restaurant owners, you never know. All cats are black in the dark.
But men also get raped.
And that is true. But that is trivial. You see, this is where you become problematic. I'm telling you about how women get raped, and you're like, men also get raped. Yes, and that is true. But here we're talking about women. Another day, another time, call me again and let's have Senati and talk about how men, the limitations to men talking about men being raped. Men are trash was just to highlight that we are not safe from anyone. Not from our fathers, not from our brothers. Don't you find it ironic? Lesotho mana 65% of the prison population get rapists. But not a single man will say, but many of us know girls that have been raped. Why?
Wow.
Everyone knows a girl that has been raped, but we seldom hear of people that know rapists. Why?
Let's talk about the culture. Would you say the culture, Lesotho, is also perpetuating
oh yes.
this?
I love that you took it there. So one of my pet projects is trying to understand how Basotho perceive consent. And as I was going deeper and deeper into the whole argument of consent, I realized something, that how can a minor consent? We have customary law that says women are perpetual minors. And if we say these people are perpetual minors, what can a minor consent?
No, a minor can't.
So?
I mean, they can't even sign a legal contract.
Darling.
I mean...
Therein lies your problem. We have a custom that has continuously, and will continue. It did so in 2013, and we did not have an approach. If anything, you were too busy trying to protect your chieftainship and not realizing that the same chieftainship is borne by the same women. Banna have only have X, Y chromosomes. And for a man to have a child, who will come with XX chromosomes. So if anyone should be for not having boys, not Basadi. But you were here in 2013. We had our highest court granting who have an chieftainship should go and no one raised a hand. And we have all you progressive men sitting there and lying around, sipping on your vodkas and your gins and launching new alcohol. And you want to tell me men are not trash?
Wow. Okay. I think you've introduced a whole lot. I mean, child protection. You've introduced. For me, I'm a big advocate of having wills. And for me, nothing frustrates me as much as seeing the girl child, or in fact, any child, being denied their rights.
It's barbaric to be blaming children for being who they are. If anything, this whole thing with LGBTI, they can't marry because go and kill all the straight people because straight people have LGBTI kids.
Sure.
If anything, blame men for having, because funny is, once the man dies, the woman can be regent in her own right. Mosadi can be regent. But Mwana wa Madia How will not inherit the seat purely because Hana the XY chromosomes.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I need a break. Not a break, but I'm just like, I need to recenter myself and
so you understand.
Yes. I'm just like, okay.
The whole analysis is messed up. So you are much more comfortable to have someone that does not even have a drop of whatever royal blood looks like. I don't know. That royal blood come and be regent Abuse Monana purely because she was sleeping with the right man. So when Mwana how that is from the Takala how cannot do the same.
Oh, the Takala. My Taka agrees. So for me, I think I want to switch it up a bit. Talking about the legal side of things.
Yes.
So there's a perpetrator, and then there is the victim.
The survivor.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I've learned something new. The survivor.
Yes.
The survivor.
We survived this.
We survived, So let's start with the perpetrator. Because the law, they have rights too.
Yes.
They have rights too. But they really violated somebody, which is absolutely unacceptable.
Yes.
So what are your thoughts around the perpetrator? And then let's move on to the survivor.
This is a bit of a conundrum for me. Someone that studied the law.
I still can't say that word, by the way.
So I always say, if you want to know where someone went to primary school, ask them to sing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star.
Yeah.
When I was on Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Little Star.
Little, like,
No, darling. Let me school you up. Little. Yes. Those that say little star.
It's all British or American.
Keep on about that banana paid for school fees. Anyway, that was the diversion. My views on the perpetrator. I have none. I don't see a reason why anyone should feel that entitled. I feel it's a crime of entitlement. It's a selfish crime. It's unlike motozang to eat. I think choosing to rape someone is worse than choosing to kill someone. Because you see, the moment you come and you forcefully immerse yourself into the personhood of another, you are removing their agency. You are defiling what is sacred. You see, sexuality is sacred. This is why I don't call private parts bomanuna. Your vagina is your possession. So if someone can come to you and forcefully enter you, that is the biggest sentence that I feel someone can give to you. And then you still have to leave. And people have the audacity to say, 16 has been pardoned by who? So as a lawyer, I'm in a bit of a... because I'm like, ooh, the law is doing us a fast one here. And also, if you look at the way the law is structured, take the Kwesi case, God rest her soul. At no point did the former president of South Africa deny that he had sex with her. So it is not what you know to be true, it's what you can prove. And with rape and gender-based violence and forced sex, it is even harder because now it's your word against the other person. And just because Mahota have failed to find you guilty does not mean it didn't happen. So now you are here purely because this is an act that by its nature would be done in private. You have to bear the burden of knowing that it has happened, but have a whole court say it is not sufficient information.
And I think when you say the burden, it brings in the shame for the survivor.
Yes.
Now you suddenly have to live with, besides the fact that you had to go through this traumatizing experience, now you have to live with, one, the memory, and two, the shame that comes with it.
And I don't want to call it shame.
Okay.
I don't want to call it shame because I think we're shaming the wrong person. This is why I was saying to you, it's quite interesting that all of us will know girls that have been raped, but not the rapists. Right? I think society have chosen to place the shame inappropriately. So the woman bears the shame, but not the man that forcefully entered a woman. You understand? So I think that is misplaced. And I don't agree with survivors in carrying the shame. I know it's there, but I hope one day we'll get to a point where they break through the shame and know that it's not for them to carry. Which is why to date, wherever I see my uncle, I'll tell him you're a pedophile, you're an incestuous pedophile.
And I have a niece. And every day I look at her and I'm just like, yo, I'm so scared for her, you know?
Then what you need to do is, because you know them, you know those guys bearing passed out, they sleep with them. What you should start doing is you should start saying because the system in itself, the way the system has been created, and hopefully the system was created by man, it was never for us as women. So the system in itself is always pardoning because it feels like a man's edges are so important and holy. After kissing him, if you withhold your consent or you withdraw it,
the 90-day rule.
Not even the 90-day rule. Where you are playing around, if you don't sleep with me, die.
What bull BS is that?
Die.
So anyway,
you know what I mean?
We're in the last 2 minutes.
Yes, so I think
I want to have your final thoughts.
First of all, society has to make it inhabitable for men that rape to exist in our societies. We have to stop pardoning them. We have to make it so hard for them to exist. Wherever and whenever we see them, we have to deny them to even sit with us because they destabilize our society. But the good thing that I like about incidences like that is they're not discretionary. They don't care how rich or poor you are. And the more we condone rapists, is the more likely it is to happen to someone close to you. So men, you have a bigger responsibility. Instead of trying to reverse men are trash, your responsibility is to how do you help women and how do you hold your friends accountable. Secondly, we have to create systems that allow women to say, so-and-so made me feel uncomfortable, and to believe women. And I'm well aware that there are women that falsely accuse men of rape. And it is up to us as fellow women to say you are problematic because you are reversing the struggles that we have made strides on. Thirdly, we need a government that is responsive. Political will is not waiting for an enabling law. Political will is not waiting for an enabling environment. We elect you and make you government so that you make rules that will make it habitable for us to continuously live as a community. And if those are impossible, say it. Come up with a white flag and say, I can't. Well, it's too much.
Too much.
Come and take it.
It's too much.
But lastly, also, guys, ladies in particular, stop trying to be with men. Get Linford vodka.
Oh, Senate, which you are sipping on right now and enjoying it.
What is a man when there's alcohol?
So,
I'm done.
Of course, you're done. I'm not. So, House of Linford, new baby, Senate, local gin, premium gin at that. How about if I was to say that this is a gift
for me? Hey! I would like to thank not just God, Abapanzi, Tsikoane, Botumagute, and now I'll thank God and my friends and my mother for this
but
good
what are you
English.
going to drink by the time you're done with the thank you speeches?
Honey, I have to thank Abapanzi. I have to thank Abapanzi. You know, I might as well take this to my dad and say, Daddy.
Sure!
I made it to life.
I don't know about you, but you know, this has been really amazing. Season finale of Talks Over Linford. New baby in the house. When they say the future is bright and exciting,
and sexless, and gender fluid, and sexually liberated.
All right, and orgasmic,
non-male apologetic.
This is what we need.
Lesotho. The future has no name. The future is who she says, or he, or it says it is.
Hands down. Thank you.
This is a nice drink.
Oh!